Hello everyone, I'm Arunima from Knit-A-Knotter, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make the textured waves pattern using Tunisian crochet. So for this I recommend using two colors. So the waves they look the best when you use two colors. So for this video I'm going to use these two colors, and this is Lily Sugar and Cream yarn, so cotton yarn, and I'm using a 6.5 millimeters hook with this. And so let's get started. So for this pattern you need to make a foundation row with number of stitches in multiples of 6 plus 2. So for this video I'm going to make 12 plus 2, 14. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, and make the foundation row stitches in the back bump here. So I have a separate video tutorial that explains different kinds of foundation rows that you can create, and I like to make mine in the back bumps, so that's what I'm doing here. So here that's 14 stitches. Should be 14 loops on the hook. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 loops. And I'm going to go ahead and make the return pass in the same color. So that's chain 1 and then yarn over, pull through 2 all the way to the beginning of this row. And now I'm going to change color. So to change color at the beginning of forward pass, you just have to stop here and attach your next color. I also have a separate video where I explain the different kinds of color changes that you can do in Tunisian crochet. I'm going to add a link to it in the description below if you'd like to take a look. So for this, I'm just going to now change color at the beginning of the forward pass. So I'm going to make my next row with this color, and I'm just going to attach it here. And now here is where the pattern starts. So you start with, this is the first loop on the hook, so that is the first stitch. Next we're going to make 3 reverse stitches. So to make a reverse stitch, you insert your hook in the back vertical bar of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. So that's 1, 2 and 3. And then for the next 3 stitches you'll make double crochet stitches again in that back vertical bar. So if you see, so the same thing as you do while you're making reverse stitches, but you do a double crochet stitch instead of a regular reverse stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook in that back vertical bar there, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2. So that's the first double crochet. Now yarn over, insert your hook in that back bar, yarn over, pull through 2, and do that 3 times, and then repeat these 6 stitches again. So 3 reverse stitches and 3 reverse double crochet stitches. So 1, 2 and 3, and then 3 reverse double crochet stitches. So that's double crochet in that back vertical bar. So that's 1, 2 and 3. And now for the last stitch we'll make an extended last stitch. That is because the height of these double crochet stitches is double than that of the regular reverse stitches. So I'm just going to pick up these 2 vertical bars just like I normally would, yarn over, pull through, and I just stop here for a regular edge stitch or last stitch, but in this case I'm going to chain 1. So that completes the forward pass of this row. That's the second row, and to complete this row I'm just going to make the return pass just as I normally would. So that's chain 1 and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, all the way to the beginning of this row. And now I'm going to change color again, so I'm not completing this. I'm going to pick up my yellow and I'm just going to pull that through instead. So you can see that the first stitch here, this edge stitch, matches the height of this stitch, which was a reverse stitch, and this edge stitch here is an extended end edge stitch. That's because it matches the height of the double crochet that was right before it. So for the next row we're just going to make simple stitches. So here, that's a simple stitch in each. So for the double crochet stitch, the simple stitch will happen in this, it will be made in this loop over here, in the vertical bar here. Same for this. So locate that vertical bar and insert your hook and pull up a loop. And in the last one you have to leave that first chain and then insert your hook in the 2 vertical bars of that second chain that was made, and then yarn over, pull through. And that's how it's looking. And then we yarn over, chain 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2, all the way to the beginning. And at this point I'm going to change color again. And now I'm going to, so I have reverse stitches here and double crochet reverse stitches here, so I'm going to flip them. I'm going to make the double crochet reverse stitches over here. The first 3 stitches will be reverse stitch double crochet stitches, and then the next 3 will be just plain reverse stitches. So what that does is it lines up double crochets on top of regular reverse stitches and regular reverse stitches on top of double crochet stitches, so that maintains the height, overall height of this block, because if we end up making double crochets on top of double crochets, so we'll have a bump like you're seeing over here, and we want to make a square, so we just want to square it out, we have to eventually even out the height. So that's how we'll do it. So here, because we're going to make a double crochet stitch first, we're going to start with a chain 1 for that first stitch or this edge stitch to attain the height that's similar to a double crochet, and then we yarn over and make a double crochet in that back vertical bar, this one, and yarn over, pull through and chain. So that's or pull through 2, that's a double crochet stitch, and I'm going to make 2 more in that back vertical bar. And then 3 reverse stitches, so 1, 2, 3, and then 3 reverse double crochet stitches again, and then 3 reverse stitches, so 1, 2, and 3, and then the edge stitch, and then yarn over, chain 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2 all the way to the beginning of this row. And then I'm going to change color again. and then make a simple stitch in each stitch throughout the row. So this is a very simple pattern. You just have to make sure that you have your stitches lined up properly. So all the in these rows which have reverse and double crochet reverse stitches, you just have to make sure that they line up properly. The reverse stitches on top of the double crochet ones and the double crochet on top of the reverse ones. And then chain 1 and yarn over, pull through 2 all the way to the beginning. That's the return pass. So this is how it's looking. So you can already see these waves showing up, and I'm going to make 2 more rows or 2 more waves to show you how it was done again. This is just so you can see how it's done. So you can make this pattern with any number of stitches which are multiples of 6 plus 2. So the multiples of 6 are the ones that are in the center that make the waves, and the 2 edge stitches are the plus 2s. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one more time. So you just have to repeat the pattern that we've done so far, exactly the same. It's a 4-row repeat. So I'm going to now, because I'm going to make reverse stitches, I'm not going to chain 1 here. So it is a reverse, 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 and then double crochet reverse, double crochet reverse, double crochet reverse, and reverse, 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 and then double crochet reverse, double crochet reverse, double crochet reverse, and then we end it with an extended edge stitch. That's because we want to maintain that height that we have with that double crochet stitch right next to it. I'm going to make the return pass now. So yarn over, pull through, that is chain 1, and then yarn over, pull through 2 all the way to the beginning. So now that's done. I'm going to change color, and I'm going to make a simple stitch in each stitch. In here, because this was an extended stitch, we'll leave that first chain alone, and we'll pick up that 2 vertical bars from that second chain and yarn over, pull through. So that's the end of the forward pass, and return pass will be chain 1 and yarn over, pull through 2 all the way to the beginning. And then change color again. And so this is the second wave, so we'll have to start with a chain 1, because the first stitch right after is going to be a double crochet, and this is going to be a double crochet in that back vertical bar. It's a little hard to find, so here it is. So if you just insert your hook like this here in between the first stitch and that second stitch, and then just pick up that back vertical bar. That's how I like to do it. So that's first reverse Tunisian reverse double crochet stitch, and then I'm going to make 2 more, 2 and 3, and then regular reverse stitches in the next 3. And then reverse double crochet stitches in the next 3. And then reverse stitches in the next 3. And an edge stitch. So this time we're not going to chain 1 because we're right next to regular reverse stitches. So now the return pass, and now I'm going to pick up the other color, make simple stitches, and I'm going to show you how to bind off. So to end this, make a row of simple stitches. So every row in Tunisian crochet, or most of them, are defined by what you do in the next row. So right now what we're doing is we're defining these stitches as simple stitches and double crochet stitches. Double crochet stitches are slightly different in this respect, but generally speaking, for the single height rows, what you're doing is you're defining the previous row as a stitch. So when we made this row, the reverse stitches were made by, this row was defined as a row of reverse stitches by this row that was created. So because we have this row as reverse stitches, we're going to end it with a row of reverse stitches, and that is something we'd not do with here. We do it in the bind off part. I'll just show you how it looks, and then it'll be a little more clear. So this is a row of simple stitches, and I didn't change color now. So if you look at this, this is not a reverse stitch row just yet. So it will be a reverse stitch row when we make that final row, because that final row will define this stitch. This is sort of a ghost row. It doesn't really have a stitch at this point. So I'm going to now go ahead and make that final bind off row, and I'm going to, I used to not chain 1 at the beginning, but I've started to like doing a chain 1 before I start my bind off. You're welcome to choose whatever you like. You don't really have to, but I like to chain 1 and then make reverse pass stitches. So a reverse pass stitch and then a slip stitch bind off. You keep doing that for every stitch in this row. So insert your hook, pick up that back vertical bar, and then slip stitch. And that's the edge stitch. And here, this is how it's looking. So you can see that we've maintained this is a rectangle right now, but if I added another, well, not 2 rows here, but if I add another row, it would sort of match the shape of a square, but we always aim for having the same height and width, but we'd have to make sure that you'd have the entire repeat of those, I think it's 4 row repeat included, so that you get that shape that we need. And if you look at the back, this is how it's looking in the back. So there's a couple more things I'd like to point out. I think I mentioned this earlier, but this pattern looks best when you use more than one color. In my sample blanket, I've used 3 different colors for this. You can you can make it with how many ever colors you like, and there is no reason why you can't make it with one color also. I think it will be a good textured square because of these reverse stitches, but I feel that it looks best with more than one color. The other thing I wanted to point out was that yes, it's a textured square because of these reverse pass stitches. The reverse stitches. But if this is difficult, if you find this hard to do, you can just make these stitches, the purple stitches in the front vertical bar. That would not give you this little raised texture here. That would be a simple stitch at that point, and that will look just fine as well. But that is something I recommend if you are having trouble doing the reverse stitches. So that's pretty much it. That's all I had for this video. If you have any questions about this technique, please feel free to reach out to me. I have a Facebook group where I provide support for all my patterns, which you are welcome to join. I'll have a link to it in the description below. And I have a bunch of video tutorials and free patterns on my blog. So please check them out, and I will see you in my other tutorials. Bye bye.